Okay.
Don't break it.
All right. So, um, so far, Gita is has been telling you. Tell me if you agree that so far Gita has been telling us that Gita is a guide to a personal journey, a personal transformation journey. You agree?
Yes.
It's motivating us to take a journey
Okay.
inside our heart, inside our mind, our own personal journey, and it has given us some stages. You know what? It's given us a starting point, it's given us an end point, and it's given us some stages. So you may not have exactly thought about it like this. I mean, you may have, but I want to ask you guys, can you describe what are the different stages or just even name where does the journey start? What is that called? What is the end of the journey? What's the middle? What does Gita call all these things? So, for instance, the starting point of the journey is a samsari,
So
right?
that.
Right, just like that. Simple.
Mm, yeah.
The journey starts with a samsari. What is the end point of the journey? What?
Gyani.
Jnani. Very good. It
In
gives
between, it's
many. Yeah.
Karam Yogi.
Yes. Okay, so the end point, it gives lots of different names, right? Sometimes it calls it Jnani. Then in some shloks it calls it Panditaha, Pandit. Some shloks it calls it Tattvadarshi. And sometimes, we refer to it as Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukta means the one who's free while living. In your Jivan, in your life, you're free. You're not bound by anything. You're living like a free man, literally a free person. So that's a Jivan Mukta. Right? So all these different names are given. And it gives different indications of what a Jnani is like. How do you recognize it? How do you know? What would your food like if you were a Jnani? What would happen to you? So, okay, so we've got
Characteristics.
the starting point, which is samsari, and then we've got the ending destination, which is Jnani. And then Gita saying you can't just jump from samsari to Jnani, right? So, Billu, what you said? What was the intermediate step?
Karam Yogi.
Yeah, right? I mean, we all clear on this, right? That Karam Yogi is the intermediate step between a samsari and a Jnani. In fact, Gita says there are two possible paths, two nishthas. And Arjuna was very confused which one to take. You remember? So one path, Kiki is nodding her head. So Kiki, which is the second path? One was Karma Yogi, the other was
Sankhya Yogi,
Sannyasi.
Sankhya Nam, and
Sannyasi, yeah.
Sannyasi.
Also called Sankhya Yogi. So Sannyasi is also called Sankhya Yogi or Sankhya, Sankhya in Gita. So Bhagwan Krishna said, in chapter 5, Arjuna asked the same question again. Why should I be a Karam Yogi? Why not just be a sannyasi? And which is sannyasi seems like a quick shortcut to Gyani. Because Gyani is what? Knowledge. So sannyasi is all about knowledge. So why do you want me to take a long circuitous route called Karam Yogi? First, I have to control my heart, my mind, then control my senses, and this and that, and all of that paraphernalia. Live in this world, do this. When we are reaching the end stage is the same, which is Gyani. And sannyasi is a very quick path there. Padho or get done with it. And Bhagavan Krishna repeated to him that no, that is not correct. You cannot go become a Gyani till you've taken care of the issues that you have in your own mind about samsara. You can't just short circuit your way to a Gyani. And this time he said very emphatically in chapter 5 that absolutely the better path for you is Karam Yogi. And in fact, all of Gita is telling all of us that the right path for us is to be a Karam Yogi. Okay, so now let's understand what these three things are because they're very distinct from each other. These three phases are very distinct. So the first phase is a samsari. So what are the indications of a samsari? What does a samsari feel, do, think? How does a samsari look at the world? So, okay. I'm going to ask Rupa
Oh my
to
God.
get
No,
us
no, no.
started.
No,
Say
no, no.
something. Say
No,
something.
I
कोई
don't
बात नहीं.
know.
Doesn't matter. कोई बात नहीं. Nobody is evaluating you.
I
What do you
don't know,
think?
Nitya.
What do you think a samsari is like? What does a samsari feel? Think about a jnani and think about a samsari. Just whatever comes to your mind.
Nothing comes to my mind.
We'll wait till something comes to your mind.
No, don't wait. Tell me you can answer.
No.
You
No,
can
you got to
answer for
answer.
me.
This is not okay. This is, you got to,
No,
this is not like,
25 knows all this. I usually ask him after your lessons. I ask him.
Rupa, I know that you know as well.
He rebuffs me. He says, "Oh, you know, this is your standard answer." To me. No, I don't know. I don't know. Sansari is what we are right now, right?
exactly. So
Mhm.
what are your problems right now? Why are you coming to the Gita? You're not unusual. Your problems are everybody's problems. They
Mhm.
come in different forms. Maybe the specific circumstances of your problems are different than my problems. But at the essence, the problems are the same.
Mhm.
So what are those problems of a samsari? What are the features of a samsari?
Because Sansari doesn't realize that everything is in God's hands. You just do your job and everything will fall in place. I think that's what you've been teaching. Am I correct?
Right. So what does a samsari then, how does samsari look at the world? What does a samsari want?
Everything it sees.
Live by
Sorry,
the day.
they are into this is a problem. It's somebody else is creating this problem for me. It's not a reflection upon yourself. It's just woe me kind of a thing where my problems are associated with external events and not myself.
Absolutely.
And Sari wants to manipulate the circumstances because they
Right.
think that fixing the circumstances is going to fix them.
Right.
Exactly. Fix their problems. They don't think they need fixing. They just
Yeah.
feel like they need what is to be fixed is the external problem.
Mhm.
What other things does a samsari experience as a result, as a consequence of this outward looking mind?
Desires.
Suffering.
Desires. Fantastic. A samsari experiences desires. Desire is the
Ambitions.
linchpin of a samsari. What's that, Bilu?
Ambition, money.
Yes, desire. I mean,
Yeah.
desire in various forms. Sometimes it's an ambition, sometimes it is money, sometimes it is, a person, another person, right?
Mm.
And why does samsari experience desire? Because desire is nothing but a change, a required or a directed change in an external circumstance. Those are the typical desires, my circumstances right now include a small pokey house. I want a bigger house, and that is a desire. So desire is, or I want a, young boy will say, I want to get married to a wonderful girl, vice versa, whatever. So these are all desires. So, okay, what else? What else does a samsari experience as a consequence of this external facing mind and desires?
Pain. Sorrow.
Pain, sorrow, anger,
Jealousy.
jealousy. Why does a samsari experience these things?
Because his desires are not fulfilled.
Exactly. There's a problem with desires. If the desires are fulfilled, then what happens?
New desires come in.
New desires come, right? Desire
Mhm.
gets fulfilled, you feel good for a while, and then suddenly you have a new desire, right? So that is just
Hey
keeps going
Siri,
on.
set an alarm for
And if a desire is not
15
fulfilled,
minutes.
then what happens?
Hey Siri,
Dissatisfaction,
hey Siri,
rejection,
Dissatisfaction.
depression.
hey Siri,
Nita, you got to
set
mute
an
yourself.
alarm for 20 minutes.
Meeta, you forgot to mute yourself.
Oops.
We can wake you up in 20 minutes if you're going to sleep.
Okay, that's fine. Please do.
So the desire, so when the desire is not met, then what happens is sorrow,
Anger,
Disappointment,
frustration.
depression,
anger, yeah,
anger.
frustration, all kinds of things, right? So this is the state of a samsari, because the samsari is looking for what does Gita Bhagwanji say? He says a samsari is looking for permanent peace amongst things which are by their nature impermanent, right? By nature, everything that we are seeking from everything in the outside world is impermanent. There is no permanence.
No, I don't think the Sansari is seeking the peace. Sansari is happy and satisfied with what he's doing. He's not even looking at that aspect yet.
Mm. Meaning, what aspect?
I mean, he's not even looking for peace. He's just living his life and carrying on and not even thinking that there is peace somewhere else which should be sought. Yeah, I
Maybe,
think that is.
no. Maybe the samsari. Sorry, go ahead, Tony. Vaya.
No, yeah, there's method to that thinking. Yeah, I agree. They don't even know why I'm getting the sorrow and why am
Exactly.
I unhappy, and they don't even
Yeah,
know
he's
that.
just living his
Yeah.
life and day to day and not even thinking about.
Exactly.
But that's a Gyani samsari then, right? Gyan, he's already got that Gyan that, okay, this is going to happen. I'm going to deal with it. It'll be okay. It'll
So he's
pass.
not.
No,
There's
no.
not.
I think what Billu is saying is that
The other way.
the samsari is not even thinking about
Yeah.
that I should get
That
peace.
he has to look for
He
peace
hasn't
somewhere.
even identified his problem yet.
Yeah, he's just
Not
satisfied with the way he's living and he's just living
Not
his life.
satisfied. I mean,
No,
if he was satisfied, things would be great. Then they
But
would
that's what I'm
be,
thinking. I thought Billu meant that that person who's living in the sansar but is happy, it's okay. He's floating along.
yeah,
Yeah.
Come what may, he's okay. He's
yeah.
dealing with it and dealing with it. So he's already a Gyani then.
No. I mean, that the point is that if you look at the people around you, look at yourself also, right? You can sort of tell yourself, hey, I'm just happy, I'm just floating around. But are you really? Because this world doesn't spare anybody. If you are if you are going to count on this world to get your pleasures, right? Then at one point or the other, you're going to feel the pang of the arrow of sorrow, of anger, something or the other. So it's right that even in the samsari, there are stages. So one stage, the early stage of a samsari, actually, the immature stage of samsari, you can say, is one where the samsari thinks, yeah, everything is fine and I will deal with the world. I'm fine, nothing is wrong with me. I'm going to use my resource and my faculties to uh, become better or like change my circumstances or whatever it is. I will, I have to make some adjustments and I will adjust with this world and everything will be fine. Samsari doesn't even think about self-knowledge or about peace or any of these things. There's no concept of that for a samsari. And most of the samsaris are like that actually. And when they get hit and when they go through pain, they say, okay, this happens in life. And, this is part of life. We all go through pain. And you tell yourself that and you move on and you keep moving on and this keeps happening and you keep moving on. But then you get to a stage of a slightly more mature samsari who says, okay, let me just step back and look at this pattern in my life. Like, this is a pattern which is a repeating pattern in my life. Why is that happening? What am I really looking for? What is the meaning in my life? I would like to call this, or Hillary Clinton would call this the 3 a.m. moment.
Yeah.
When during the course of your normal day, you're happy and satisfied and things are going fine. You have like your responsibilities, you're busy. But sometimes at night when you can't sleep, or if you wake up early and suddenly there is silence, there is space. Then this thought comes. Is this all there is in this world? What am I really doing? Am I just between this starting point, which is my birth date, to my end date, and my end date is approaching very rapidly, inexorably. I can see the changes in my body, in my mind, in my circumstances already. That is coming. And is this it? You know, you get that sense of complete restlessness, of almost anxiety that, what is all this all about? That is a more mature samsari. When that samsari begins to then understand, okay, I am really living a pattern and deluding myself that I'm fine, right? That's a more sensible or a more mature samsari. Does that make sense, Billu?
Yeah, it does.
It does?
But Nitu, I
Yes.
think a lot of us, including me, do not, if, life is going on, one doesn't even know or doesn't even desire to know that there is a thing called such peace that you will never, if you understand the interpretation of mithya or whatever it is, that you will never think, you will never be at will never be depressed or angry or sorrowful. It is, if people are happy, if you interpret what Billu said the other way, that there is this happy samsari who feels, okay, I'll deal with it, that's okay, we'll go on, and you keep dealing with it. What else are the options anyway, other than to deal with it and move on? And what's wrong with that
Concept.
approach as well?
Nothing wrong.
Fine, you're dealing with it, you've accepted, you feel like, okay, maybe this was not right or whatever, or this is how I could improve this, and you move on with it. What's wrong with that concept
No,
either?
not at all. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong. That is, I
Yeah.
mean, no stage of this life cycle or this journey cycle is wrong.
Right.
Okay. All Gita is saying is, as long as it lasts,
Yeah.
as long as you can live with it and you're happy with it, you're fine. Continue living.
Yeah.
And for you, then Gita has a suggestion. But most people in that stage, let's say you're in that state right now.
Yeah.
Let's assume, or I am in that state, anybody.
Yeah.
What are we then expecting from the Gita? Because that is where I was trying to get to, actually. So thank
Right.
you for bringing it up.
Right.
What then are we looking for from the Gita? For a person like that,
Yeah.
the answer that our religion, our Gita, everybody gives
Yeah.
is the law of karma.
Right.
Because a person like that says, okay, I know this is the way I want to live, but it's in my hands. I want to do the right thing
Right.
so that I get the right result, so that I'm happier. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
That is the mindset of the person that you described.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah.
Let's say you are like that, let's say.
Yeah.
Then you still want to do the right thing because you know that by doing the wrong thing, you will become unhappy.
True.
Right?
But that is not only in our religion, that is what your conscience tells you, whether you are a Hindu or a Christian or
Absolutely.
whatever.
Agreed. And maybe the religion formalizes it by giving you something called the law of karma. Because the law of karma says it kind of gives you even more of a framework. Because you'll find sometimes that when you do something good, bad is happening. And somebody else who's doing something bad, good is happening.
Right.
That puts a lot of tension and stress. Because then you say, my conscience is saying one thing, but I look around me in the world, that's not really happening. Correct?
Yeah.
So the point I was trying to make is for the samsari, the defining thing that the Gita doesn't even provide it, but the religion provides or anything provides is the law of karma. That makes sense to a samsari. Because to a samsari, it's like, I will do the right thing and right things will happen. If not in this birth, in the next birth. Tell me, what are the right things I should do? How should I approach this life? What is right and what is wrong? So that I don't suffer in this life and the next life. That's the defining framework of a samsari. That's why. So I was trying to get to that slowly, but we kind of jumped through it quickly, which is good. So we can make progress. But do you understand this as the defining framework of a samsari? See, there are different kinds of samsari. There are some samsaris who will not even say law of karma. They'll say, I don't
Yeah.
give a damn. I'm just going to go grab what I want. आगे का किसने देखा है? कल किसने देखा है? I want my pleasure now. If I don't get it by legal means, I'll get it by illegal means. Right? There are those samsaris too.
But that's probably 90% of the world.
It's probably maybe not 90, 20, but yeah. My guess is that maybe about 20% of the world. Because most of the world
Yeah.
lives with legal ways. Otherwise, there'll be no order in this world.
Yeah.
When that becomes 80% of the world, then Bhagwan Krishna will come to this earth, according to Gita. Okay?
Yeah, no, I meant from the people who are trying to improve themselves, trying to do the Karam Yogi. To get to the Karam Yogi part, maybe, very small percentage.
0.5%.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's
To get to the Karam Yogi part, not even 0.5%.
Yeah.
Right? I'm saying most people are going from the immature samsari, which is, I call it immature, which is I'll grab my pleasures in any way possible, to a mature samsari. Now, many people have the tendency also, okay, I'll grab my pleasures with any way possible, but they still are refrained because they know that there'll be police which will catch them. They're restrained from doing so by pressures of the society, by pressures of law, by pressures of whatever it is, there is conflict in their mind. Deep inside their mind, they want something, but they are not able to get it because of the laws of the world. So there's a gap between who they are inside and what they are pretending to be outside. They're presenting to you as a responsible, respectable member of the society, but deep inside, they're abusive. They're abusing people around them. They're abusing whenever they get a chance and they can do something without getting caught, they'll do it. Right? So there's a lot that is an immature samsari. But we are trying to go from an immature samsari first to a mature samsari. A mature samsari says, I don't want to get into all that. I don't want to um, live this life of stress and tension of all of this. I want to do good deeds. And I think by doing good deeds, I will get good results. That's a mature samsari, but still a samsari. And that samsari wants to follow the law of karma. I mean, I'm simplifying it,
Yeah.
but because that samsari then says, okay, Gita, explain to me the reasons for my conflict comes from a simple fact. My conflict comes from the fact that I want something, I'm not getting it, and I'm being good. I'm doing good things. I want something for myself for doing the good things.
Mm.
Am I unreasonable to expect that good will come to me if I'm good? I've been brought up thinking that if I'm good, I will get a good result. That is what it should be. That is what the world should be. I believe it. I'm doing it. I'm following that principle. Yet, I'm not getting good. There are people around me I see enjoying life who have not followed this principle of doing good, who are doing bad. That creates tremendous conflict in our mind, stress, right? Because then it starts pulling at us and saying, are my values really strong? Can I live by my values? My value of doing good? Because I, the world is not aligning with my values. So either that person will crack, okay, and say, okay, damn the values, or that person will look for solace somewhere as a samsari. And the law of karma, which is the linchpin of our religion, provides that solace. Because the law of karma tells you that even if you don't see the results of your good actions right now, and you don't see the results of another person's bad actions right now, they are all being recorded. And at some stage in your life, maybe in the future, they are going to bear fruit. And you look at our parents and people before us, even Sarla Masi, Mummy, Kuntal Masi, all the people we know, everybody, they believe that. And this is an important facet of their life. The point I'm trying to make is still a samsari. Still a samsari. We got to understand this first stage, which is samsara. Just because we are religious, just because we believe the law of karma, and just because we are ethical, it makes us a good person, but it doesn't make us a karam yogi. Do you understand this?
No, I didn't understand this last statement.
Yes, I understand that you don't understand, and that is good because we are going to discuss that now. So keep that in abeyance for a minute, and you'll understand when we talk about karam yogi. So right now we talked about samsari. Now let's talk about a jnani. What are the features of a jnani that you think you understand?
Jnani doesn't blame things on other people, other actions. Jnani looks at himself um, and reduces his desires, understands the concept of that, and is able to live through life without having the major ups and downs.
Right. I mean, I think you're probably it's closer to karam yogi what you're saying, but jnani is the end point.
So Gyani knows that their nature is fullness. They
Right.
know that the happiness that they want
Correct.
is not derived from
Yeah,
external.
that's the underlying knowledge which propels the jnani. But what are the features of a jnani? How does jnani live his life?
With
Lakshanas
peace,
of a
with
jnani.
calm, with
Spontaneous peace,
yeah,
without any effort,
yeah.
without any thinking, without any um, conflict, without any doubt. The jnani lives in the moment.
Yeah.
The jnani is not perturbed by usko ye ho raha hai aur mujhe ye nahi ho raha. There is no jealousy. Whatever we define our samsari, anger, desire, jealousy, what else did we say? Sorrow,
Sorrow.
right? All these things which we defined as the features of a samsari are inverted, do not exist for a jnani. So Gita has a shlok in the chapter 2, which I think you will understand now better. It said, what is night for the samsari is
Right.
day for the jnani. What is day for the samsari is night for the jnani. What is day for the samsari? This world outside. Because that's where the samsari gets its pleasures. That's where the samsari is focused to. What is night for the samsari? His own self. It's night, it's dark. He has no concept of his own self. He has no idea, like, what I am, that this is a source of peace, that I am myself a source of my own peace. He has no idea. A samsari is inverted. For samsari, the day is his own internal self. That's always there for the samsari. Everywhere
Yeah.
he sees himself. His self is the most existent thing for a samsari, the most important thing for a samsari.
You mean Gyani, right?
Sorry, for a Gyani. I'm so sorry, Gyani.
Mhm.
And the world is night for the Jnani. He is not looking at this world for any pleasures. He's enjoying the world, it's fine. He's playing with the world, he's, playing in the world. But it's not of much importance in terms of providing meaning or existence or, things to him. Not because the world is less meaningful. It's because he has found something which is way, way, way more meaningful, way, way more pleasurable and enjoyable and peaceful. So the desires are gone.
Okay. Don't put anything more, just water. Hot water.
So that's a jnani. When the desires are gone, when you are having peace within yourself, then you will come across as a person who has full control over himself. You tempt him with some apsara, he is not going to get tempted by the apsara. Or you tempt him with wealth and whatever, he's not going to get tempted by the wealth. He will use his head because there's nothing in between, there's no mind to interfere with his head. He's not, you know, normally what happens is we all know better, but our minds and our desires and our fears and everything, they interfere with our thinking and we make silly decisions because, दिमाग कुछ कहता है और दिल कुछ कहता है. For a ज्ञानी, this conflict doesn't exist. उसका दिल और दिमाग वो एक ही बात कहते हैं, सेम कहते हैं, because his दिल is not getting drawn here and there. So when Didi was saying, we don't even know there's such a concept possible, that's true. Before Gita, we had no idea that this was possible. That actually it's possible to live like that. In perfect peace and harmony with the world. Always present in the now. Always content. Always, by naturally and spontaneously doing the right thing. You can live like that. So this is the ideal that Gita has set forward in front of us. That of a Jnani or a Tattvadarshi or, whatever you might call it, Pandit. Do you see the difference between the two? Samsari and Jnani? Rupa?
Yeah.
Do you see how the night and day shlok plays nicely into this? Bilu?
Yeah.
Okay, now explain the Karma Yogi. You said that is in between.
Yes. Because Jnani for us right now is very far away. That I think we can all agree to.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So Gita does two things, in the first 6 chapters. This is the first 6 chapters of the Gita. It's the journey of the human being. That is what is depicted in the first 6 chapters of the Gita. Every chapter goes stage by stage, goes deeper and deeper into that journey. So in the first 6 chapters, Bhagwan Ji has nicely told us the features of a Jnani. In fact, it is full of those. You'll see again now, if you go back and read, you'll see he is so often in so many different ways described a Jnani. Sometimes he's called him like a turtle. A turtle has the ability to withdraw his limbs at will. So Jnani can withdraw his senses at will. He doesn't, uska dimag kehta hai ki step away, he'll step away. There's no, no confusion in the mind of a Jnani. Things like that. Jnani ko, he calls him like a samundar. A samsari is a pond. थोड़ी बारिश आती है, the pond starts overflowing. थोड़ी बाढ़ आती है, pond becomes dry, right? समुंदर में कुछ नहीं होता, बारिश आए, बाढ़ आए, समुंदर is समुंदर. So Jnani is defined as a samundar. So there are so many different similes that Gita gives to make us understand what a Jnani means. Okay. Now the path. So Krishna Bhagwan told Arjun that the path, that what is lacking in a samsari is knowledge. How does samsari become a Jnani? The difference between samsari and Jnani is knowledge, essentially. We said now that for a samsari, his inside being, his self is dark. Because there's no searchlight which is being focused on the inside. Samsari is only thinking about the outside. So how do you, if you're ignorant about yourself, how do you break that ignorance? How do you cross that ignorance? Any ignorance, let's say you're ignorant about cooking. How will you remove the ignorance?
By searching the recipe on Google.
Right. Or asking ChatGPT.
Right. Your friend.
Yeah, my friend. You remove the ignorance by knowledge. That's the only way to remove ignorance. Let's say you don't know how to cook. You say, no, I will remove my ignorance by exercise. You start going to the gym and exercising. Will you remove your ignorance of cooking? Or let's say you say, no, I'll remove my ignorance of cooking by reading or whatever. Your ignorance of anything is removed by knowledge of that thing. That's the basic idea. That's Shankaracharya's key insight. What does Shankaracharya say, which founded the whole of Advaita Vedanta? Shankaracharya, everybody is saying, every philosopher, every religion knows that we reach a stage of unhappiness in life. Buddhism also says that. Everybody says that. Christianity also says that. And depending upon their understanding of the cause of that unhappiness, they give the answer.
Answer.
So many religions say that the cause of this unhappiness is our disconnection with Bhagwan, our lack of faith in Bhagwan. That is why we are unhappy. So what's the answer they'll give? Go to Bhagwan. Right? Bhakti karo. Some religions say that the cause of our unhappiness is our mind is wavering all the time. So what's the answer they will give? Meditation karo. Dhyan karo, right? So the answer that a religion or a philosophy gives depends upon what it diagnoses is the problem, the cause of the problem. You have to solve the cause of the problem. What did Shankaracharya diagnose as the cause of this problem in the world that we are facing? He diagnosed the cause not as a disconnection with Bhagwan or a wavering mind or whatever. He said the root cause of all of this is that we don't know who we are. And we don't know our own strength, our own capacity for happiness. We have forgotten our capacity for happiness, which is inside us already, which is not something that has to be gained afresh. It is already there. We've just forgotten about it. We are ignorant of it. Now, when you frame the problem like this, that this is the issue, then what's the answer? The answer has to be knowledge. You can't know yourself through bhakti. Bhakti chant karte rahoge to it won't give you knowledge about yourself. You can do all the chanting you want. You can do all the japa you want. You're not going to get knowledge of yourself. You can't know yourself through dhyan also by meditation. You can meditate all you want. Focus on this, get your mind totally this, sab kuch kar do. At the end of the day, the ignorance still remains. Kya fayda? So Shankaracharya says his diagnosis of the problem is the issue is we don't know ourselves. And if you have to follow Shankaracharya's method, you better be convinced that that's the problem too. Because if you are not convinced of that, if you think that the answer is, I have lost faith in God, then this is not a good method for you. Because then you will be frustrated. You'll be listening to the teachings of Shankaracharya, but half of them you will be ignoring anyway because you don't believe them. This recently happened in one of my lectures where the person said, somebody I know said, do this. I have faith in that person. I'm going to do japa. So I have faith in the person. I will do japa. Sure. I'm sure any knowledge or any philosophy will give you some benefit. But if that is the conviction in your mind, then this is not for you. This Advaita Vedanta philosophy is not for you. And I'm not saying this is right or wrong. We don't know which philosophy is right, which thinking is right. We all have our own ways. But when I have done this analysis in my own mind, this philosophy has hit me squarely. I have no problem with it at all. It ticks all the boxes for me. This is for me personally. So I'm happy with it. I could devote myself unconditionally and completely to it, to understanding it. But I'm just saying this because you have to understand this is the basis of this philosophy. The basis is that the diagnosis of our problem, which everybody sees, is lack of self-knowledge. Okay? There's this little diversion, but if at some stage you will have to come to, if you really want to go deeper into this, you'll have to come at some stage with this question and you have to face it and say, yes, it makes sense to me. And it doesn't make sense to most people. Even those people who come on this path of spirituality, I would say 1% of them follow this because it doesn't make sense to most people. Most people cannot come to terms with the fact that all my answers are within me only. They feel that the answers have to be provided by somebody. Even when you're following Advaita Vedanta, we feel, okay, let the philosophy explain to me what it's saying. I'll follow the philosophy. That's the spirit of Advaita Vedanta is gone right there. Because it is your own thinking, your own, at the end of the day, that's what it is. So I'm just saying that because if at any time you feel you want, and then you should explore more areas too, because bhakti is a very rich, rich tradition. And maybe it's a good thing. That's what, depending on what we all need.
But it
So
seems to
you're
me the way
trying to
I
say,
think about the way
oh,
I think
sorry,
about
yeah.
it. Sorry.
Mhm.
The way I think
Yeah.
about it is that bhakti can be good
Yeah.
if it calms your mind. That's fine. But to me, it seems it's more superficial a little bit. Unless you truly answer the question, "Who am I?"
Right.
you can't get through it.
Yeah, I think so. But not everybody thinks so.
Yeah. You bet.
Okay.
And no
But
harm in
as
doing both, though.
No harm in doing
You
it.
have to
Yeah.
do both.
Yeah.
Because
I'll tell you why.
that is a conventional way of being taught, like we do our prayers and all that. That is jap, that is bhakti, whatever. So while we are understanding this other concept, if we are doing that, no harm.
Okay, so
No.
that's again, Didi, again, thank you for the question. Because the same question Arjun asked Bhagwan Krishna in the inverted way. He said, on the one hand, Bhagwan Krishna, you're telling me that the answer to this problem is knowledge. Because this is what Bhagwan Krishna told him. He said, the problem is lack of self-knowledge. The answer is knowledge. So the first half of the second chapter said just this. It described the different ways of Atma. I talked about Atma. It said you have to get to know your Atma. It's a great thing and all that. That's exactly what it said. Then in the second half of chapter 2, Bhagwan Krishna said, no, go fight. Right? Or he could have said, go do bhakti. It's the same thing. Bhakti is also a karma. Remember, there are many types of karma.
Mm-hmm.
One karma is that you are fighting, that's a karma. One karma is that you're thinking, that's a karma. So, meditation is also a karma. Bhakti is also a karma. Bhakti में क्या करते हो तुम जप कर रहे हो काम कर रहे हो. You're doing
Mm.
something. So all these are part of Karma Yoga in the Gita. So it's like saying Bhagwan Krishna is telling Arjun, the answer is self-knowledge. लेकिन तू अब जाके जप कर. Which is what you also said, Didi, right? No harm. But
Mm-hmm.
Arjun didn't think like that. He said, why should I do jap? Like, I mean, you are telling me that the answer is self-knowledge. Now you're telling me do jap. Follow these disciplines, do karma. Explain to me why. And it took the whole of the Gita for him to finally be convinced. Because what did karma mean for Arjun? It didn't mean bhakti. Arjun was not a pandit.
Right.
Karma for Arjun meant fight the war,
Fight. Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It took 18 chapters for Arjun to be convinced that I should fight the war.
War.
So then he fought the war. It took 18 chapters for him to be convinced that I need to do karma. Although my final answer is knowledge, I still have to do karma. That is if you think about the Gita as the philosophical text, what does Gita provide? which the Upanishads have all said that. But what is so special about the Gita? The Upanishads focus all on this knowledge. They describe why ignorance, how ignorance, and they describe what this knowledge is through many different ways. They describe this Atma, which is you, through hundreds of beautiful, lovely ways in poetic text, in metaphors. They try to get you to understand this. But Gita is the one text which does that too, but also spends probably more time trying to tell you to do karma. So Gita is a complete text. That's why I really like the Gita.
But can I interrupt one question?
Yeah.
You just now said that self knowledge is the concept of Advait Veda, which has been written by Shankaracharya. Now, is this his concept, or is this also what Krishna is saying in Gita?
Okay.
So,
It is
if they are
not.
both the same,
No, no, no.
then
Listen.
it makes sense that it's not just a concept, it's the universal truth.
No, no, no.
But
So
if you're
let
saying
me
that that
explain.
is his concept,
No, no. It's not. It's not Shankar's concept.
hmm.
This Advait Vedanta is our most traditional, most old philosophy of Hinduism. What before Shankar's guru and Shankar's guru's guru, Gaudapada, he commented on the Upanishads. He was, he also wrote about Advait Vedanta. Shankaracharya systematized this concept. He wrote texts to, he wrote the Grantha, which we now follow. In other words, the concept has been there for a very long time. It's an old tradition, but Shankaracharya formalized it.
So it's
He was
actually
a,
is not his concept.
no, no,
It
it's
is
not his
actually the
concept.
concept which Krishna ji has said in the Gita.
No, no, hold on. Just go step by step. Don't jump. So all I'm saying right now is that Advait Vedanta is not Arjun's concept. It is a concept which has come from tradition from long, long time.
Hmm.
That's all I said, right?
You said Arjun. I think you meant to say
Sorry.
Gita.
I,
Gita.
Shankaracharya.
Shankaracharya. Hmm.
What is Gita? Now, just like there is this concept which has come from a long time, Advait Vedanta, there are also other concepts which are running parallelly in India. There's Sankhya, which is even older than Vedanta. Sankhya says is not Advait. It says there is something called consciousness and something called matter, and the two are separate. It's a duality concept. It's not a non-duality concept. There's even older. Gita is a unique text. What Gita does is it conveys the essence of all of these things. So there are some chapters of the Gita which you'll see are talking as if to duality, some talking clearly to non-duality, some talking to bhakti, right? मेरे में सब कुछ, मेरे में समा जाओ, मेरी पूजा करो, तुम्हारा पार हो जाएगा. It's a very bhakti kind of a concept. There are some concepts which are about dhyan. Chapter 6, which we do next, is all about dhyan yoga, how to sit down and meditate. Correct? So Gita has taken all of these things. It's a compendium of all of these things. And it has left for you this deeper philosophical thing, it has left for you to figure out what works for you. Now, when I first saw it like this, I thought this was a failing in our system. Why is it that our philosophy, our Indian philosophy, doesn't have a clear point of view? Why is it saying so many different things?
Hmm.
Now I have come to realize it as a huge strength because we are not, and Gita is not in our religion and all, they are not idealistic. They are not about this is right and this is wrong. If you really think about it, if you really go beyond all of this, they are a big tent which try to reach you wherever you are, whatever stage of life you're in. See, I as an Advait Vedantin, very clearly, I used to think about more of the, now I don't even think about myself as Advait Vedantin that much. But I appreciate Advait Vedanta.
So
For
what do you
me,
think?
huh?
What do you think of yourself as?
Okay, so for me, I see these different religions as different stages. I see that at some stage we need we need something. Like some people just need bhakti. Their mind will not move forward till they have expressed their emotions, expressed their feelings in a safe way. They're so oriented by feelings, there's so much feeling inside them. There's so much expression. They can't think. The feeling overwhelms them. They have to express that feeling. They have to let it out. They can't do it to this world. Because if they do it to the world, लोग समझेंगे पागल है ये तो बावला हो गया है या बावली हो गई है. They do it to God. It's a safe place to do. It's a safe place to unfold all your love. And what will you expect from a patthar ki murti? You can imagine it whatever you want it to be. You can imagine this patthar ki murti is my God and my God is blessing me. You can do anything you want. You can make it, you can live your internal life exactly. They need it. Till they have done it, they cannot take any step forward. Some people need to work. They have to work. They have to establish, they have to create something. Otherwise they'll go mad. Just sitting quietly in one place, they'll go mad. And I see so many people around me like that. Most of us are like that. We have to find something to do. Some people say just to overcome their grief, they have to go to work. You have to distract yourself. You have to do something where you're not you're not going mad. So you have to do it. You can't force that person to say, sit and think about your inner self. You have to do it. Do it in a way which is safe, which is going to give you benefit. That is Karam Yoga. Right? You're doing it in a way which is actually even moving you forward, just like you're doing bhakti in a way which is moving you forward. So all these traditions have a place. And that answers, actually, in a way, that answers the question that Arjun raised to Bhagwan Krishna. Like, why are you asking me to fight when the answer is knowledge? Because Bhagwan Krishna told him in chapter 5, he says very clearly, he said, you will go mad if I send you into the jungle to be a sannyasi. Because you are full of vigor. You have to fight. All your life, you're prepared to be a warrior, to defend the dharma, to do all these things. What is going to happen to all those feelings inside you? You think they're just going to subside like that? Are they just going to, today they are there and tomorrow they're gone? You have to express them. So I am giving you a way to express them in a way which is not harmful to you. By doing which, you're going to have peace in your heart, not stress. Because the problem is, and this is exactly what it is. If you think about it, when you have bhakti also, when you have love, and you have a lot of love for people, if you're doing it with people in this world, expecting something, whatever, you are going to get stressed. A person who's very emotional is a very stressed person because his or her expectations are always being shattered. You say he or she is wearing her love on her sleeve. She's doing everything for everybody else and nobody else is reciprocating. Do you see this in your life and around you? How often we complain, मैंने अपनी तरफ से सब कुछ करा है. Look at how much effort I've put into this relationship. But I've got nothing. I mean, I've got very little in return. And then you become depressed and you become cynical. And that is not a good place to be. That's not moving forward, that's moving backwards. Similarly with work, you put in a lot of work, you give everything to your organization, do everything, and then you find you've been, bypassed for promotion. Somebody else has got the promotion. You got fired actually. Not only did you not get a promotion, they laid you off. After giving everything to the company, after doing everything, that kind of work is going to bring you stress. That kind of bhakti or that kind of love is going to bring you stress. And stress is the hallmark of samsari. We want to get to a place where we have less and less stress so that our mind can be at peace, so that we can actually contemplate what what Gita is really saying about self-knowledge, or what Vedanta is saying about self-knowledge, rather than just so far we just listen and एक मिनट के लिए सुना और निकल गया, एक कान से सुना दूसरे कान से निकल गया. We are not even paying attention because that is not the most important thing in our life. Most important thing in our life is to get rid of our stress. So how do you get rid of your stress? By doing what is your proclivity, your natural tendencies to do, and doing it in a way that reduces the stress. It's a beautiful thing that Gita is giving us. We will be, I mean, we will be silly to ignore it and say this is, ये तो ऐसे ही बोल रहे हैं, ये तो ऐसे बकवास है. It's a way out of samsara. So getting our mind ready and reducing the stress in our mind, reducing these urges, getting ourselves into a calm place so that we can truly start thinking about myself, about the things which Advaita Vedanta says are the important things, which are going to finally get you, to that Jnani state. That is called Karma Yoga. Gita calls it Karma Yoga. It's an intermediate stage. Sometimes Gita calls it Yoga. And yoga is a better term because, Karam Yoga, say we get confused. Your Karam Yoga is different from Bhakti Yoga, is different from this yoga. No, it's all the yogas. Karam, Bhakti, Dhyan. You can think of all, jitne bhi tumhare disciplines hain. All of them put together, bundled together, is called yoga. Gita just calls it Karam Yoga. But when it says Karam Yoga, you have to understand it as that. Because it does include in Gita all of these different yogas. So you got to do jap, you got to do bhakti, you got to do karam, you got to do everything, whatever you need to do. All these prescribed ways are there. And even things which are not in there, even those you have to do. But you have to understand why you're doing them. What is the reason? Otherwise, you'll say, I'm just doing it without any expectation or result, and that will never last. If you don't know the reason why, there is no question of any practice succeeding.
So the bhakti we do is actually duality because we are praying to someone who's out of us. But this Advait philosophy is saying basically you pray to yourself.
Didi,
Literally.
I don't know what you have done today because every question you ask is is like the next thing that I was going to talk about.
See, just spending time with you is raising her level.
Right, in Guruji's
Made her
ashram.
Jnani.
In Guruji's ashram without doing anything.
No,
Didi's become a
it's
Jnani.
amazing because actually this is exactly what I was going to ask you. You got samsari, you got karam yogi, you got jnani. Now, what about the concept of the self? What about duality? See, the main we are when we say when Krishna Bhagavan tells Arjun that you are Atma and the world is non-dual, right? He is telling him, and Arjun is saying, "Oh, I want to learn about the non-dual and all that." All this is in duality, right? When he says that's a non-dual answer. Answer is non-dual, but you have to fight. Fight is in duality, right? So I was going to ask you this question, but since you asked it, I can ask you to observe it. That as a samsari, you're living in a dual reality. As a yogi, you're living in a dual reality. Because as a yogi too, and I will, there's one, I'll explain a little bit more. But as a jnani, you're living in a non-dual reality. I mean, reality. It doesn't mean that jnani doesn't say, me, he goes to the market and, says, Atma ko khana do, or whatever, orders for the Atma. It's not like that. But the reality is non-dual. The Atma, that what he sees is real, is this non-dual. That is the reason why that night became day for the Jnani. Because this Atma, which is non-existent for the the state of
Samsari.
the Atma. For the samsari, it's non-existent.
Hmm.
For the Karam Yogi, it's a concept. It's not non-existent. It's existent, but it's existent as a concept. He knows there is something Atma, I need to get to Atma. But I'm not ready, I have to do something. It exists as a concept. For a Jnani, it's the reality. It's not existing as a concept anymore. It's existing as he himself. He has internalized the Atma just like we as samsaris have internalized our mind and body. If someone says, Apna haath utha, hum ye utha denge, right? We've internalized it. This is my body, this is my hand. We don't have to think about it. But Atma we have to think about as Karam yogis. Jnani doesn't have to think about the Atma. उसको कहोगे अपना हाथ उठा, he may have to think about that. Oh, okay, ये मेरा हाथ है, okay, उठा देता हूँ, you know. But he doesn't have to think about the Atma. So that's the difference. But what was the other question I was going to ask you? So yeah, so what are the main differences as you see between samsari and karam yogi and jnani? Right? One is this who am I? This duality. As a karam yogi also, we are dual.
Can you talk a little more about this duality? We've talked a lot about it. Can you explain that a little more on duality and non-duality?
Tony Bhaiya, this is a very difficult, I will try. Okay. See, how much time do we have?
Yeah. Maybe we can take it one-on-one later. Everybody else gets it, I think, but
No. I don't think
I
so.
don't get it.
No, nobody
No,
gets.
absolutely not.
It's not even, this is not something which you can get.
okay. I was thinking it's a stupid question to ask because you've talked about it so much.
No. It's a very deep question to ask. The only thing is, I think maybe we should take it in the next class.
Next time.
Just start a little bit at least, though, because no,
I mean,
it's up to
see,
you anyway.
no, it's okay.
It's
What duality means? Like, how do we know things? Let's say I know something. There is a subject, there's a me, a knower. There's an object to be known, and then I know that object. There's knowledge which happens, right? Let's say up anything. Let's say I see. No, by knowledge I mean perception, emotion, cognition. All of these are the same things you can think about as knowledge. Let's say you're seeing something. Let's say you're seeing the computer screen in front of you, right? It's an object there. That's the object, the computer screen. You are the seer, the subject. The subject sees the object, correct? If you have to do something also, you are the subject, the doer. There's something which has to be done, that's the object, and then you do that. There's always two things in knowledge, in everything in life, there are two things. One is the me, and the other is the objects around us. Right? If I have to see, the process of seeing involves two things. It involves a seer who sees, and it involves the object which is seen. The process of doing involves two things. It involves the doer, which is me, I'm doing it, and it involves the thing which is to be done, which could be in your mind even. That's okay, but it's an object. Even thinking involves two things. Because thinking से मैं बैठ के सोचता हूँ, right? You are the one who's decided to think, and then you think. And there's a thought which you have to think, which is the object. And there's the thinker, who is you. Let's say you say, I ask you a question, and you say, I'll have to think about it. Now, there is you who's doing the thinking, the thinker, and there are the thoughts which are being thought about.
Mhm.
So there are always two things, always. This is called duality.
Okay.
Okay? Now, I'll tell you something. Descartes, you know Descartes, the one who said, I think that's why I am.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very famous philosopher, Western philosopher. He formalized this for the first time. And that was a huge insight. This thing that I've just told you, is not intuitive. We don't think like this. Someone has to point it out that actually there is a doer and there's something which is being done. There's a thinker. There's a duality in this world. We don't really see it. We just do things, right? We don't think. So Descartes brought it out. And it was the foundation of Western thinking since. Descartes has been the most influential philosopher in the West of all times, I would say. Whole of modern science is built around the principles of Descartes. So he didn't just say this, he expanded it and said a lot of other things. But everything that the West has done, that we have done, which is called science, has come from this. Science is about experiments. There's an experimenter, there's an experiment out there. I do the experiment, I analyze the data, I do this and all that. So all this forms the concept of everything that we do. Philosophies like Sankhya also build on this. And philosophies, even Bhakti. There is a God, there is me. I pray to God. Duality.
Mm.
There is a God, I think about God. Duality. Duality is like, you cannot imagine. I mean, like, when you say, I take care of me in my next janam, I will do this or I will be this. Duality, because there is me, separate me. And then there is the next janam. And in that next janam, something good will happen or something bad will happen. Law of karma, duality. लॉ ऑफ कर्मा क्या कहता है कि तुम्हारे साथ वो होगा जो तुम कर रहे हो. वो तुम इज देयर, राइट? देयर इज अ तुम जो कुछ कर रहे हो और जिसके साथ कुछ होगा. ऑल ड्युअलिटी. सो ड्युअलिटी इज इन आवर डीएनए. इट्स देयर इन एवरीथिंग. वी डोंट इवन थिंक अबाउट इट. But many thousands of years ago, some sages, through deep meditation, they said there is a problem with this duality. And the problem is, how does this knowledge happen? How does the knower get to know the thought? If they're two distinct things, how does the knowledge take place? See, if there's nothing in common between two things, there can be no interaction.
Mhm.
This is a very important thing to understand. Do you understand this?
Mhm.
What about the rest of you?
Mhm.
There is I use this example a lot. There is something in science called the neutrino. Neutrino is a subatomic particle. And a sun, जो हमारा सूरज है, it is a neutrino happens as a consequence of nuclear reactions. And sun is a giant nuclear reactor. There's fusion happening all the time. So our sun produces trillions upon trillions upon trillions of neutrinos every second, because of the enormity of the reactions happening there at size. And they all travel close to the speed of light, and they pass through us in trillions and trillions every second. They just pass through everything without anything. They pass through the earth. In fact, right now I'm sitting here, neutrinos are hitting me from above, but more from the bottom too, because they're just passing through the earth from the other side. जहाँ पे सन ने, अभी तो मॉर्निंग है तो यहाँ से आ रही है, लेकिन रात को सन इज नॉट अबव, सन इज बिलो मी, इट्स ऑन द अदर साइड ऑफ द वर्ल्ड, राइट? ऊपर तो अंधेरा है, तो सन इज ऑन द अदर साइड. So neutrinos are passing through all through the earth and hitting me and going through without a care, without, like, as if nothing was there. They just go through matter like that. But they're not completely, there's some commonality. The reason why they go through is because there is no commonality. Neutrino is a substance which doesn't interact with the rest of the matter. But how do we even know it exists? Because if it doesn't interact, we'd never know it existed. We know it exists because we did some calculations. And in the calculations, we said the mass is not matching. There's some missing mass, some missing energy. when they did the calculations of the sun, the reactors, they said there's some missing energy which is not being accounted for by the energy which we are getting from the sun. That missing energy was going through, so they have to find out where the missing energy is going. And they discovered that it's going through these particles which cannot be, which are not, which we can't account for. Then they started looking in earnest for neutrinos. And they built these huge reactors underground. And what they found is one neutrino and trillions and trillions and trillions will interact with some silver atom. Like once in a blue moon, once in a while. And they were able to actually catch those, they were able to record those because they interacted once. And they were able to, from that, calculate that it's all mathematics. They calculated and they figured out, okay, now if we understand these, so this energy which is being trapped by, carried away by the neutrinos, now the equations balance. Right? The point is that, and anything that is not part of our way of matter, it doesn't, we will never capture it. We'll never be able to see it. So the problem is, if you say that I am the subject and that is the object and there is nothing in common, we can't see it. There has to be a common substrate between everything for it to be experienced. For me to experience an emotion, there is a me, there's an emotion. For me to experience an emotion, there has to be something common between the emotion and me. In fact, they developed this thinking and they said that everything is nothing but me, because that's why I experience it. If it wasn't me, I would never experience it.
Mm.
And okay, this is just a glimpse.
Yeah.
There's much more to it because I'm sure a lot of questions will come.
Yeah, let's
But
talk
I'm
about
just trying to
it.
tell you, this
God,
thinking
it's
is
so
called
complicated.
Yeah.
Because
Everything
what
is
it's saying
nothing.
is duality cannot exist.
Yeah.
To say that two things are separate and nothing in common, one and the second, cannot exist. Because if that was the case, we would not experience anything. But we are experiencing everything. Anything we experience has to have something in common with us. So as you go deeper into this, what you realize is that common thing is all there is. The rest is mithya. Okay, so that is a longer thing, and I'm not even sure whether we want to go into it even.
Get into that.
But at least you understand the concept of duality versus non-duality.
Got it.
Is it
So
also
for
fair
me,
to
non-duality is totally real. I do not believe in duality. I know that yes, we see these things. Because non-duality is completely real for me and I buy into this logic. In fact, actually, this logic I've thought through myself. And then I realized that others are saying it too. So I have conviction in it. And because of that, for me, Advaita Vedanta
Makes
is
sense.
meaningful.
Yeah.
But if you don't, then it's not meaningful. Sorry, Kiki, what are you saying?
nothing? It doesn't matter.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, is it also fair to say that in simple terms, the difference between duality and non-duality is that as long as we think of ourselves as this body-mind separate, we are in duality. That is duality. That it's
Separate from what?
I versus everything and everyone else. If I think of myself as the body-mind, then it's duality. And once I realize that my body-mind is part of just everything else, that there's only the substrate of consciousness, that is non-duality.
So
duality
that is called, I think what you're getting to is called Vishisht Advait. It's called qualified non-duality. It means, it's like the example there is that there is one interconnected thing. And we are all nodes in that interconnected thing. We are part, so you exist, I exist, everybody exists, and we are all interconnected together. There's the Ramanuja's, the philosophy of Vishishtadvaita. That's what they say, I think. Because if you're saying...
No, I'm not saying that there is, I'm saying that the real existence is only consciousness. So I think that is But
that is the point. Like, how can you then explain everything else in the world? If the real existence is consciousness, what does it even mean? Like, does Tony Bhaiya exist? as a person? Because if Tony Bhaiya exists, then you exist too as a person, right?
Yeah.
So you can't say that there's a real existence and an unreal existence. That is also not correct.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have to think through this. If you are thinking about non-duality, you have to think through this whole thing at some stage. At some stage. Doesn't have to be now. But the good news of all this is that regardless of non-duality, duality, bhakti, shakti, ye, wo, these are all philosophies, right? Regardless of that, what Gita tells you have to do right now is the same.
Yeah.
Every philosophy, everything is saying the same thing. That right now, you have to clean your mind. And that is the other thing I was going to say. Last point, and then we will finish, okay? Or unless you have questions. The difference between the samsari and the karam yogi is that the samsari is all about changing circumstances, external circumstances. A jnani is about changing no circumstance. Jnani is like, I'm fine. A karam yogi is about changing his internal circumstances. Okay? And Krishna Bhagwan is saying, you can't go from bothered about external circumstances to not caring for any circumstance, because all this knowledge happens through your internal circumstances, through your mind. So the process of cleaning up your internal circumstances is called Karma Yoga. That's Karma Yoga. So whatever you do, focus on your internal circumstance. Don't worry about the other person. Focus on your internal circumstance and clean it. That is the message of Karma Yoga.
You're done with the class.
Mama हो गया आविश.
Okay, Avish. सब मजे में?
Unless there are any questions.
No, I just want to, I'm very thankful that I got to marry Mita so that I got to know you, so that I can learn all this from you. I mean, incredible. Ritu, your knowledge and your description and your explanations are unbelievably good. Very impactful to me.
Too much work and thought has gone into it.
Oh my
really,
God,
to
how much
reach the
studying
stage
he's
he
done.
has reached.
Yeah, really.
My
Because
God, the
I'm very
amount of
interested.
knowledge.
Yeah, no.
And not only science, Tony Bhai,
Yeah.
everything.
Everything.
From the reactors to the physics to the
Yeah.
chemistry
My
to the
God.
biology to the
Philosophy.
I'm an engineer and I don't know half the things he talks about.
No, but that's okay. I mean, everybody has their little play in life, what they work on.
Yeah.
You should stop recording, maybe.
नहीं, it's very good.
नहीं, I'm saying stop recording the conversation so you can talk.
समझ आ गई.
Masi Ram Ram की हालत ਤੁਹਾਡਾ?
बच्चू
Okay,
राम राम
so
बिल्कुल
we are
ठीक
done,
है.
right? Shall I?
Tony, you are a very good speaker. This much I know.
No, I'm not, but I'm.
The way you explain.
I'm so grateful.
Mummy,
I'm
एक minute,
so
एक
grateful.
second. Okay, are we done for the
Yeah.
class?
Yeah.
No more questions, right?
Next time, more questions.
Next
No,
time.
we have
I'm
to.
gonna-
Next time we have to delve more into non-duality. Duality
right.
तो समझ आ गई है.
Right.
Non-duality नहीं आना समझ
I am
में.
so amazed.
बिल्कुल भी.
I am telling you, like, you are the one who said, why are you talking about all this thing? We are not ready for it. That's so far away. Let's talk about what we can do right now. You remember? कितना मेरे को डांटती थी.
नहीं तो ठीक है. तो that is
You
why
create
I'm
trauma
still
in my
becoming
mind, and now you're saying you're going to.
familiarity. Yeah, so I mean, I'm just becoming familiar with the terms now. May I say that? Initially, even the terms were non-existent for me.
Okay. Yeah. No, sure. We'll delve
I
into
didn't know the
non-duality
difference.
as and
that they
when you
were.
guys are ready and you really want to, if it means something to you, we will definitely delve into it.
I think we should. I think we should. Yeah. Anyway,
by the way, and the beauty of it is that Gita is going to go in that now.
Oh, okay.
We are on chapter 5, chapter 6 ke baad, the Gita changes course completely.
Yeah.
It's no more about your journey. 1 to 6 is your journey.
Yeah.
And after that, it's ready to move on to the reality of the world. So it's just so beautiful how it's completely, automatically our minds have also transitioned. Okay, so I'm going to shut the recording, okay?
Yeah.